The cameras flashed, the crowd froze, and just like that, Hollywood had a new obsession. The headline: "The Palace is trying to destroy her. Welcome to Starscope Report." Join Jordan and Jamie as they uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals. From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
Yeah, and today we're looking at something so small but, incredibly explosive. A $350,000 diamond ring.
Right, but we aren't looking at it through a jeweler's loop. We're actually diving into a master's thesis on British tabloid discourse, basically decoding how the press weaponized this one simple piece of jewelry to reinforce some really deep societal and racial tropes.
Exactly. So let's start with the piece in question. It's the engagement ring Prince Harry proposed with back in 2017. It started out as a custom design featuring a cushion-cut diamond from Botswana.
Oh, flanked by the two stones from Princess Diana's personal collection, right?
Yep, all set on a traditional yellow gold band. But since 2019, Meghan Markle has altered it.
Yeah, she swapped the yellow gold for a thinner micro-pavé band.
She did. And later, in some promotional materials, fans noticed the center stone looked like a completely different emerald-cut diamond, and sometimes...
She just removes it entirely, like she did during that recent humanitarian trip to Jordan.
Right. Which, in the real world, resizing a ring or, choosing not to wear a massive diamond to a refugee camp is...
Totally standard.
It's incredibly standard. But the way the media reacts to those decisions, that is what makes this such a fascinating case study.
It's honestly like a public mood ring. The media lens acts like a funhouse mirror. It takes a minor detail, like leaving the ring in a jewelry box for a trip, and aggressively distorts it to reflect society's existing anxieties. Instantly, an absent ring is framed as this fatal crisis in her marriage.
Or a redesigned band is framed as a blatant disrespect for British heritage. But the hostility isn't actually about the jewelry. It feeds into a pre-established media narrative of, an American outsider actively dismantling tradition.
If you're loving these Hollywood twists, by the way, make sure you're subscribed. We've got even crazier stories ahead. But wait, I have to push back a little here.
Sure.
The British press is notoriously brutal to everyone. I mean, Kate Middleton was relentlessly mocked for years before she became beloved. How do we definitively separate typical tabloid snark from actual racial bias in this specific coverage?
That's a really fair question. The distinction, according to the thesis, lies in the specific vocabulary used. When tabloids attacked previous royal brides, they generally critique their actions, right? But with Meghan, the sources show the press relies on highly coded language.
Like branding her as aggressive or a bully.
Exactly. Or a social climber. They even coined Megxit, which directly tied her departure to broader nationalistic and xenophobic anxieties.
And that's not even the wildest part. Later in the episode, we'll talk about a shocking twist nobody saw coming regarding the diamond industry itself. But first, how does the research actually explain this?
Well, the master's thesis imparts sociologist Patricia Hill Collins' theory of controlling images. Collins argues that these aren't merely stereotypes.
What are they then?
They're deliberate tools used by institutions like the press to make inequality seem natural. By repeatedly portraying Meghan through historical tropes like the angry black woman or the welfare queen, the tabloids successfully frame her as a hostile invader waging war to extract the monarchy's wealth.
Wow.
Yeah, it strips away her vulnerability, contrasting her against the virginal youth tropes historically assigned to past royal brides.
And keeping impartial here, looking strictly at the sources, there's this deep irony in the media choosing to wage this proxy war over her engagement ring. The tabloids frame her as a greedy villain for upgrading the band, but they completely ignore the actual ethical reality of traditional diamond mining.
Which is an issue she actively avoided by taking the ring off during her humanitarian work. The jewelry industry itself is, frankly, an ethical minefield. The sources detail the stark contrast between traditional mined diamonds, which carry a heavy, documented history of conflict and human rights abuses, and affordable, conflict-free alternatives like moissanite or lab-grown diamonds.
So the ring isn't just a piece of jewelry. It's a proxy battleground. The media often can't openly attack a public figure's race without massive backlash, so they attack her relationship to tradition instead.
Right, using a modernized ring as undeniable proof that she's destroying British heritage.
Which really forces you to ask, how much of your opinion about any public figure is genuinely yours, and how much is a carefully curated narrative handed to you by an editor playing on unconscious biases.
Exactly. And, the jewelry industry is currently undergoing a massive shift toward flawless lab-grown diamonds to entirely bypass that toxic history of gem mining.
Stay tuned and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next, because that leads to a fascinating parallel for you to consider. Figures like the Sussexes are now launching their own production studio to control their narratives.
Yeah, they are.
So, are we entering an era where celebrities entirely manufacture their own lab-grown media realities, bypassing the toxic tabloid industry altogether?
It definitely makes you wonder.
You've been listening to Starscope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.